Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Bravo Bunch. We are talking all things Bravo this week, and that includes Summer House, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Below Deck Sailing Yacht, Real Housewives of Dallas, and Real Housewives of New Jersey, along with some news of the week. I am Sam Henson. I am one of your hosts here at the Bravo Bunch, but I am not alone. I am joined, as always, by two of my Judies. First up is Josh Mendelson. Josh, how are you doing?
Hey girl, I'm doing good. I'm just yelling at all my employees like Jen Shaw. Okay.
We'll talk about that. And also joining us from the RVA, it is Kristian. How are you doing, Kristian?
I'm good. I'm excited for us to be able to talk about these taglines from New Jersey.
They're terrible.
So bad.
They're tacky.
They're really, really bad. But okay, I feel like we had a pretty decent week in Bravo. I feel like it was better than last week. We're on the rebound. We have some news to talk about. So let's start with something positive first. We need to first give our gay congratulations to Miss Ashley Darby. She is now a mother of two. She had her baby. Rumor is they're about 2 weeks into filming for Potomac, so we'll see it probably on the show.
So excited.
So exciting.
I love Potomac.
I love Potomac too. I can't wait till it comes back into our lives. There's a rumor that there's another wife joining, maybe as a friend of. We'll talk about it more as we hear more news. Let's get to kind of like the bigger news story that has been breaking as of 30 minutes ago even, and that is all things Jen Shaw. We're not done talking about Salt Lake City because even a week out from the end of the first season, we are still talking about Jen Shaw being an absolute mess. So there's a little bit of tea going around. I saw it kind of circulating a few days ago, and it was that Jen Shaw was being abusive towards her Shaw squad. And just recently, there was video proof to back up all of these claims. Josh, can you explain what you saw on these videos and just what was happening in general?
Firstly, this video is on my Twitter and everyone's Twitter, and we've retweeted it. It's good to go. Jen Shaw is losing it on video to one of her employees, swearing up a storm, having a full-on temper tantrum, throwing glasses. She is losing her marbles one at a time. Woman's going crazy, and I'm here for it 100%. I love Jen Shaw because she's such good television and such good drama. There's nothing better than watching her off the rails and unhinged. Love her.
I know. If this were like any other real job, this would be like, oh my God, cancel her. But to me, like, this is the exact kind of bitch I want on my reality television. And look, I don't know. Have you guys been in a situation like I have been yelled at like that by in my workplace? Like, so like I understand that feeling, but like that to me was like seeing that. Kristian, you're saying no, you've never experienced something like that before?
Not once.
I've worked in politics, so like I have experienced this level of like absolute insanity coming out from people. So again, in any world, I want them canceled except for the Bravo world. that is my
not
take.
Jen Shaw. She can keep on doing it. Keep on doing it, girl. Give us all the love that we want. I love it. She is
as
crazy.
long as it's not her second assistant, because he's kind of cute and he deserves the world. Anybody else she can yell at.
I cannot tell them apart. Like she has too many of them. Oh, also, like, do we think that she pays these people? Because I don't think she does.
I think it's Sonia internship kind of deal.
Where she has a new intern every season.
College credit.
Because I don't think she works. Like when she was having to explain her job and she was like, oh, there's like search engines and whatever she claimed to do. Like, I don't think she's still doing that. And so like, I don't think she has that much money, because her husband is also just in his coach football team. Like there is no way she has this much money to have a staff of like 8 or 9 people. Like it is definitely unpaid internship, hot topic worthy. I think that's what it is.
Jen Shaw is like the Danielle Staub, in my opinion. She's that person. Like she's cook-a-doodle-doo, but you just keep on watching and just keep on seeing what she's gonna do next. It's great. Love her.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think of a comparison. I guess that's a good one. There's kind of like some Kelly Ben Simone in her, some Ramona Singer in her.
Taylor
like
Armstrong. Taylor Armstrong.
Taylor Armstrong. No way.
What is that comparison?
Season
Josh?
2 Taylor. Season 2 Taylor.
Season 2 Taylor. Okay, I see it and
Season
I don't.
2.
kind of yes and no, because like Taylor season 2 was like completely another level for good reason. Jen Shaw is just like I don't know. She's taking it to a level 10 for no reason at all. Like always. Okay. So we will report more if we hear anything new coming out this week about Jen Shaw. Let's go to our last piece of news, which will take us into our first episode to discuss. And that is Hannah from Summer House is officially engaged. And when I will first tell you, when I heard this news, I was flabbergasted. I was shocked. And then to find out also that she was in the relationship while filming this prior season was truly revelatory for me, because it really makes you rethink everything that you're seeing on this screen. Like, Kristian, please tell me your thoughts about this, because like I don't even know what to say. Like, this man, what?
So I'm just now coming into the realization that you broke the news to me that she was dating this man during season 5.
Yes.
And I just I feel like I have whiplash from her. I just don't even know what to think of her. And I'm questioning any sort of relationship that she has with any man. Because it just all seems so quick. And as we talked about, he looks like Kyle.
He looks like Kyle.
20 years, 10
Kyle.
years.
Just like him.
Literally put him in some Loverboy apparel, and I would just be like,
he looks. He looks like an early gray, though. He looks like he started going gray early. Like, I'd say he's in his late 30s.
I don't know. I haven't done my research, but I think he looks kind of older than that. Maybe. I don't know.
I just confused. And the fact that she's like kind of friends with Luann is just weird to me. Like, Luann made a post congratulating her.
Luann's friends with her. Does she do her cabaret?
Probably. But it's just like the weirdest relationship. And now it looks even more sad that she's like this pressed over Luke, knowing that she has a full-on boyfriend that she eventually gets engaged to less than a year later. Like,
it's just really it's really bizarre to me. Also because, she's on this Bravo chat room show with Giselle and Portia, which it just feels, now watching Hannah for a few episodes and kind of understanding Hannah, that feels so mishmash to me, because like Hannah is just not that same level of character in my eyes. And we'll talk about this fight between Kyle, Amanda, and Hannah, but I don't know, maybe old me would have been on Hannah's side, but I was like 100% on Kyle and Amanda's side about the trash and all of what went down. So let's break this down, because this is kind of what the big deal was on the Summer House episode. It was something that I was like actually living for, because like I knew they were foreshadowing this trash drama. And like when I see a show like Summer House, I want there to be drama about cleaning. Like that, honestly, that made me super excited. And you knew Hannah was going to get called out for this. And so at one of their meals, I guess it was dinner, Kyle was like, Hannah, you're not really pulling your weight trash-wise. You're not taking out the trash. And Hannah was like, well, when I signed up for this, I didn't know that there'd be this much trash to take out. And then she loses her mind. Yeah. And she says some like crazy things to Amanda. What did she say to Amanda? She's like, you could talk to Amanda like that. You can't talk to me like that, talking to Kyle.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's like you yell at your girl like that. You can't yell at me. It was just unhinged Hannah.
I gay gasped. Kristian, what are your
like,
are you on her side for this? Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, this has just been such a messy season for Hannah.
I'm not on Hannah's side per se, but I'm always on the side that critiques Amanda and Kyle's relationship. I will say, like, I do not think that they should be engaged, let alone getting married. And so anytime somebody throws a rock at that glass house, I'm excited. Okay. And clearly they got pissed off about it. Yes. But it was very obvious I was in the wrong and she had nowhere to go. So she just started swinging with just like dumb shit. Like she clearly was bringing this out of left field. So she was definitely in the wrong. But again, I don't really like Kyle and Amanda. And I just think Kyle as a man is always wrong. And so I'm happy to see somebody go toe-to-toe with him.
Okay, so I saw this take like a lot on Twitter being like, yes, please call out Kyle and Amanda. Granted, I don't have this backstory. Neither do you, Josh. But when Kyle was calling out Hannah for the trash, like I was honestly kind of here for him because like he was being a messy straight man. Like I don't know what else more you could really want from a straight man on reality television, but to call out someone over trash, that's literally what I want. So I don't know. Like I don't know their backstory, so I don't know how messy they were in previous seasons, but I was here for them. Josh, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I loved this fight. It was great. I kind of root for Hannah because she's also unhinged and a hot mess. Like, it's another one. It's like kind of like a Jen Shaw a little bit because she's like all over the place. And just she brings the drama and it's fun to watch her. So if there's a fight, Hannah's going to have her feet in it somewhere. Like, that's what
when Amanda threw the cup, the plastic cup, into the house as Hannah was walking away, I was like, Amanda, what did you think this was going to do? Like, if you're going to throw something, like, throw it at her head. Like, that's what I want to see here.
Right. I'm not a big fan of Amanda. I think Amanda's like that girl. Like, she's just the girl in their relationship. I just don't, like, I call her Amanda because she's just meh.
I think the problem with Amanda, and it's funny that you say this, is that she's just had her go at it with Summer House. The first 3 seasons of Summer House was her getting strung along by Kyle and looking like an absolute idiot. They got engaged. He cheated on her. He didn't remember any of it. And the first season was him kind of like keeping her as a friend with benefits while he was dating somebody else. So like she's looked dumb on national television, just straight up dumb. And so I'm not surprised that she's just trying to coast at this point, but it's boring.
I don't find her entertaining at all. I'd rather have Hannah any day of the week. Hannah and whatever guys she's dating or getting engaged to or paying to get engaged to. I don't whatever she's doing. It's more fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like I am constantly engaged and entertained by Hannah, even though I think almost every argument she has been on, I've been on the other side of it this season. Like every time she says something, I'm like, okay. But then I don't even know what to think about this. And I do think that there is this season, there seems to be between Kyle and Amanda, they're like, okay, we're going to give Amanda this narrative that she's like running the business and like, she's like more in control of her life. And you could definitely get the feel that they're trying to like rewrite their narrative. And Hannah definitely brought it back for no reason. Like, but I mean, obviously we're right to kind of spotlight their fuckery. I loved in that fight. I love Sierra because she was calling out the tea.
Love her.
And I love Paige because Paige was also part of the people that was not cleaning. But then she found her way into like being like the diffuser role. And I was like, amazing. That was just like brilliant TV. That was like the big fight. But I feel like there's still a lot more to talk about from this week's House. Go ahead, Josh.
Can I mention Sierra? I love Sierra. Sierra's one of my favorites on the show. I think that she's awesome. She's also gorgeous, but she's a smart girl. She has good reads on people. Sierra, and I know it's her first season, she's my favorite one, no question. I really enjoyed her this last episode.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed Sierra as well. I think she is really great at confessionals, actually, which is a talent that I don't think all these people have. I like as we go forward, because it is her first season, like she seems like very detached from it all. Like I want to see kind of more of what she can like contribute to the group. And like I understand that this is like a very established group, so breaking in is definitely hard. And she's the only Black woman, so only Black person in this house. So that's also probably a challenge. I'm excited to see her going forward. So like I very much am on the Sierra train. I really enjoyed all the conversation she had with Danielle, I think is her name, about just like being was that Paige was also part of that. Danielle as well. They're all talking about being, people of color work in the workplace. I really engued that. Sierra talked about her mom as well, being a nurse. Enjoy all of that. I guess I don't understand about Sierra. Like, so she's a nurse outside of the reality television. Like, I don't really understand that. But I guess I don't.
So my understanding of the situation is that she is a full-time nurse, and then she just kind of got burnt out because of COVID. Okay. So she used Summer House as an excuse to take a break from it entirely. So she's truly just in the house, no job. Which is like she talked about a little bit in this episode. It's like a weird place to be because everybody's busy during the day.
Have you guys noticed her room is a mess? Have you noticed that? Like it honestly scares me. Like her room. Look at her bed. This next episode, it's like there are clothes everywhere, and that's like honestly kind of frightening. Like I don't know how you could live that way. Like That is crazy to me.
It's like she's on order.
Yeah, and she'll be on Winter House, so we can talk about her even more this year.
Beautiful.
But when after that fight, she was like, "I'm taking my fat ass to bed," and I was like, "This bitch, I live for her."
Amazing.
Okay. Is there any more things you want to talk about Summer House this week?
Yeah, I feel like the one thing that we need to talk about is how Luke literally pulls Hannah aside and was like, "I love you, Hannah." And I was like, "You know exactly what you're doing by using these words.
Of course.
You know exactly what you're doing." And then he apologized for gaslighting her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, so then Hannah was on the right side of history in this argument, I guess."
Oh, yes, I agree with you. And Luke is a player. I'm not a fan. I really don't like him.
But I think what's interesting is Sierra has emotional intelligence, like I would say higher than the rest of the cast. And so she kind of seems over Luke's shit at this point. And so even though Luke is like setting his boundary with Hannah so he can pursue Sierra, I don't know that Sierra's going to bite.
No, I don't think so either. And I think this was a really bad week for Luke because he also talked to his mother and his mom. Okay, also his mother looked like the exact same age as him, which was kind of weird. But yeah, she was like, "Well, you told Hannah that you loved her," and then he says in the conversation again, he says, "I love you, and I do mean it." Like, what? Like, that's really bizarre. So, like, obviously, Luke is the gaslighter. He is the player, and then I guess at the same time, like. I don't also understand why Hannah is so upset about it if she's in a current relationship as well. It is just like two messy people that are like they're toxic and swirling around each other at this like insane level. And I love that Sierra is just like, I'm not having it anymore. Like this is not what I signed up for. And she is on Summer House and she's just gonna enjoy her vacation. And you know what? Props to her. Out of 5 pool floaties, Josh, how many pool floaties would you give this episode?
3.5.
I
thought it was
agree.
fun. 3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3.5 as well. I thought there were some good fights. There are highs and lows, and oh my god, the low of Carl and his brother died. Like that was really dark.
Like I was like, hard because we watched like Carl has struggled with his family issues for like a really long time, and so to see it end this way was just really hard. And I'm excited to see. Not that sounds like really sick. Not excited, but I'm interested to see how the cast rallies around him this season, just because they are all stuck there, right? I feel like in a normal situation, Carl might have gone home, but I don't know that he's necessarily really allowed to. And I think they are all like, at least because he works with Kyle and Amanda, he's closer with Lindsay at this point. I feel like they're going to come together in a way that seems really neat for people who've been watching the show for a while.
Yeah, I feel like this cast, like in those situations, they would come together because I feel like they're just like 30-year-olds and normal people. So I am like interested to see that next week. But yeah, that was like really sad to go from like such a crazy high of that fight to the low of Carl losing his brother. So yeah, I guess 3.5 for me. Although it ended on a very dark note, we will get to. Looks like we'll have some Lindsay drama with. What's his name? Steven or Stravi next week. It looks like he may be packing up from Summer House. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. Okay, so let's get to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, so I think there was some good things about this episode, but to me, like it didn't really land in. Maybe that was just me. But let's break all things down. So I think all of this week's episode was like fallout of the party, the bachelorette party of Kenya. So like we start off with like they're still there. It's this dinner, and Kenya's like really trying to talk about things, expose things, saying like, "Oh, like wouldn't you want to know? Like we had this in the shared house." And I was like, "Ugh, it's so shady," but at the same time, I like. Also kind of understand what Kenya's saying because it's like you did this while filming a reality television show. Like this is all kind of fair game. But Portia being like, I'm not in a praying mood tonight, that literally sent me. So yeah, Josh, I kind of want to ask you what your general thoughts of this episode.
My favorite part was Kenya's quote. Can I just quote Kenya? Because
please do.
So I'm gonna say it like Kenya, but like they were talking at the table and they were talking about like what if Bolo's penis was real. I forgot who it was. They were saying it's probably not real. And then Kenya's like, Portia definitely knows that Bolo's penis is real because it was the same penis that was banging her so hard last night that it was hitting her windpipe and making her call him daddy. Dying.
Incredible.
Moore bringing it as usual. It was incredible. It was great.
Okay, and Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the most beautiful things about Kenya, especially in these situations, is while she's actively trying to expose and play detective, she's like, I'm not trying to figure anything out. I'm not trying to blow anybody's shit up. And then she's like literally interrogating people. She's just so good.
Psychotic.
And chaotic.
It's incredible too, because especially at that dinner, it was like Portia knew that like the ball had already like started rolling down the hill from Kenya, and there was nothing that she could do or say to get her out of the situation. And like Kenya putting herself in what they called the scene of the crime. I don't even know. I honestly was so shocked I had to rewind it because I missed it and I was like, what? Like, it was like, yeah, I also woke up in Portia's bed the next morning. I don't even know what there is to say. Like, that was honestly so wild to me that she would say that on camera. Right,
why would she do that? We all know that Portia was the one that was in that room. I mean, it's 100% we know Portia was there. She's not admitting it. She should admit it. She's single. She's divorced. Go get your thing on, girl. Get that Bolo dick. Go for it. But, like, why would Tanya do that? Okay, I was with her. So basically, she said, well, I was fucking Bolo too, is basically what she said.
It was so wild. And I think that's the last that Tanya will see this season and probably ever. So she stops filming. So we have to give our kisses to Tanya, say goodbye to a friend of that never really was. So bye, Tanya.
Which is so sad to me. I feel like she just has like big like band geek energy.
Yes.
And I'm just sad that she won't be around anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like she was kind of finally kind of finding her voice within that group, because I do think there's space for her kind of archetype to fit in with this group. And so I am kind of bummed, honestly, that she is now done filming, because I guess she was caught having this threesome. Like, I feel like I remember when she first, Kristian, you saw this more recently, but when she was first introduced, did she have that white boyfriend? Am I correct in that, in saying that? Or I don't ever know if I think they're still together, or they were at the time of filming. So I'm not sure if they ever broke up. There was the cheating.
They could have been open.
That's also completely
the straight
true.
People are taking it from the gays these days. I mean, straight
cultural
people are
appropriation.
They're using poppers. They're having open relationships. It's like the
straight people do not use poppers.
Yes, they do. I know this firsthand. I had a birthday party. In June, my birthday's in June. I had a little get together, in the back of my house, like little campfire thing. And there were these random straight girls there doing poppers.
Wow.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Nothing is sacred anymore. Okay, let's keep going. So we get back from the trip. All of a sudden, like, the trip just ends.
It was very weird how it ended.
I'm like,
I blinked my eyes, and I was like,
it wasn't even a commercial break. Like, they literally just got home. Okay, that was honestly very shocking to me. They're all kind of like breaking things down. One thing I wanted to point out was when Don Juan said that Bolo wanted to get that social justice snatch. That killed me.
Yes.
Woo! Okay.
And then when Candy was like, Bolo has seen Portia for real, I was like, oh God, Candy's on it.
Okay. Oh, wait, what do you guys think? Okay, I know how I feel about this. I am so tired of seeing Ralph on my TV screen. I cannot stand that man. And to me, this is when I like question like if straight people are okay. Like, that's their whole relationship is between Drew and Ralph. I'm like, they don't even understand each other. Like, these are straight people AF.
Was this like an arranged marriage or something?
It honestly feels that way. Like, they don't even like each other. They don't understand each other at all. Like, it is so bizarre to me.
And the fact that he can't even begin to empathize with why, like, Drew might question where he was on that trip or what hotel he was at or who he was with. I'm just like, you are such a classic male. Like, this is so frightening to watch, like how okay you think your behavior is.
And he wouldn't tell her where he was. She was open with him. I was with the strip where I was learning how to back it up for you, and he won't tell her where he was. Clearly he was cheating. I mean, it's dumb. That's what he was doing. He's not a good guy. He's a
that was honestly kind of shocking to me. First off, I'm like, he must have paid in all cash, or must have super separate credit cards, because if I were her, I would have been going through his bank statements and looking up and calling every person that ever interacted with him in Tampa, Florida. But she does not seem to be that pressed. And I don't know if it's because she's not like smart enough to look at this stuff or just doesn't care. But that was shocking to me that he didn't tell her the hotel, because maybe he's worried that, you know, the front desk people saw him go home with some girls. I don't know. But whenever she brought that up, he was like, he shut down. And I just don't even know what else there is to say about that. But I can't stand them together. Like,
it's just sad to watch at this point, and it's just like very clear that they're overdue for a divorce.
And I think this is what is killing me too, because I feel like this trope is really common in Housewives, but like this was a common Housewives trope from like 10 years ago. Like watching these kind of marriages unfold. And I feel like Housewives as a franchise has evolved so much out of this, where all of these women are true entrepreneurs and like in such control of their lives and narratives. So to see this one woman that is like so submissive and so just like ignorant to her marriage, it's like it takes me back, and it's honestly like hard to watch, because it's so, I don't know, it just doesn't mesh well with where Housewives as a franchise currently stands, especially Atlanta as a whole, because I feel like these are some boss ladies, and to see someone like Drew just be so submissive, it's like it's painful to me to watch. Okay, so let's get to Kenya and LaToya. They make up.
Yep.
Kenya says that she has a crush on LaToya, which I don't believe is real, but
I thought she was going to throw cake in LaToya's face, and I'll say that cake looked really good.
No. So this is the tea. Like, I think Kenya knows she has way too many enemies this season. She cannot afford LaToya to also be her enemy, so that's why she's like winning her over. Yeah, that cake did look good. And I also want to say LaToya's confessional look, that was a lot. I don't know if you guys clocked that, but like that was a lot.
It was a little extra, just a bit.
Okay. Then last thing I guess we could talk about is Kenya's divorce, right? Kenya's divorce was pretty crazy to watch. So obviously to me, this felt like a very rehearsed scene, but one that I still really enjoyed watching. Like, obviously, I think Kenya read these papers before going to the office, but then at the same time, she was serving it, and she wanted to make him look like an absolute fucking idiot on TV. Like, that to me is what that whole scene was. Kristian, what were your thoughts on the whole divorce scene?
I just loved when they played back the receipts of him being like, I don't want a dime. Like, you can have it. Take your money. Like, I don't need it. And then him like serving her papers. I just like, oh, baby girl. Like, you know what you said on national television. You've watched the show. You know what you look like. You've seen the headlines. Like, why are you doing this? Men are rotted in the head, like truly rotted. And it's just, it's like moments like this where I feel so bad for Kenya, because it's like, regardless of how chaotic she is, it's like this person just has so much control over her. I'm just like legally, and like clearly is taking so much of her time and energy because they share a daughter. It's just like very sad.
Yeah, and that was what was interesting to me too, because this clearly was in my opinion, was clearly put on camera for her divorce. Like, this was to have evidence in her divorce about what everything was happening, like to frame it in this very specific narrative. So yeah, Josh, what were your thoughts on this?
It was rough to watch. I kind of like Kenya played it well, but it was like going through this whole thing of what we were saying earlier, where he's like, yeah, give her everything she wants, and now he's divorcing her and wanting alimony. He wants all the rights to life twirls on, okay?
I know, and I feel like they must have had some kind of prenup before as well. Like, I don't believe Kenya did not have a prenup, and I don't know. I don't think she's also worth that much money either. That's just my opinion.
But she's smart. I think she's an intelligent woman. I do think so. She plays up for the TV, but she's intelligent.
Yeah, and I think, those Housewives Atlanta checks, those are fat checks for those ladies. Like, they're getting $2 million a season. Like, that's good money. So yeah.
Atlanta gets paid the most of anyone.
Atlanta gets paid the most of anyone because prior to this season, at least, they were the highest rated show on Bravo. So they were each getting around $2+ billion a season, more than almost any other housewife. Like only Bethany was on that level in terms of alleged pay across the housewives. So yeah, Atlanta, they get a lot of money. And I think like that's why Kenya continues to do this, because this is like good money and this is how she makes her money,
yeah,
you know. So
and it's the second half of the season's really catching up though. It's getting good. It's getting better.
Yes, that mid-season trailer, it looks incredible. There is some LaToya fucking a Priester drama that I am 100% here for. I cannot wait to talk about this in the coming weeks. Kristian, how many peaches would you give this episode?
I'd give it a 3.5. I mean, I were pretty like I feel like that's a standard answer at this point. But it was serving for me. I think some of like just the transition back to Atlanta was a little weird for me and like took me out of this whole vacation. Really but I'm excited to see what's coming up next. So I'll give it 3.5 peaches.
I will give it 3 because I think Summer House was better this week. I think there was some really funny moments like when Noelle was like, Mom, your feet are ashy. Like that honestly took me out.
So
like that was so funny. Like it just we keep going. Like I don't even know why they were even filming all together that day, but that was truly incredible. And yeah, there was so many WTF moments. Like when Drew was talking to Portia later and was like, yeah, Ralph has never given me reason to think that he's cheated on me. But I'm like, girl, are you kidding me? Anyways, I have gone on to about their marriage. 3 out of 5 for me. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to say 3 stars. It was good, but it wasn't the best. It was not the Bolo episode, but it was 3.
Okay, so let's go to Monday's episode. We are officially in Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 2, Episode 1. So I have seen Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 1, and it was not very good. I'll just say that. Like, it was very boring, and the cast was a mess. And I think part of that is limitations on the boat itself. Like I think that's going to continue into season 2. Like the boat's not very big compared to the below deck boats. And so there isn't that many places for the people to go. Like there isn't that many places for drama to be had. So that's one thing that I think works against Sailing Yacht. But I will say I very much enjoyed this group. I think they worked overtime to like find this group of people. I think this looks like a really promising cast. Kristian, you're Below Deck aficionado. What are your thoughts on this new cast?
Yeah, so this is my first Below Deck Sailing Yacht season, but I was impressed by the cast.
I too.
There wasn't anybody that I was like, oh, like I could leave you. Like I was truly intrigued by everybody and want to see at least how they'll get along before one of them gets fired. I don't
think anyone's gonna get fired this season because of COVID. That's my prediction.
Oh, that makes
sense. Forced to stay.
Right. I think whenever a new season starts, like clearly my eyes go straight to the chief stew. And I think, Daisy so far, she seems a little messy, a little sloppy around the edges. And that's what you want in a chief stew. But because she seems scrappy, like she feels like she has something to lose, at least with like this whole like reputation to yachting with her family. And so I liked it. And of course, what's his name? Jean-Luc's hot. So
Jean-Luc is sexy AF. Like, give me some of that 7'5" man. Love. Bring it on. He is beautiful.
Okay, this maybe Jean-Luc kind of looks like dead in the face to me. Like he kind of looks like the lights are not on to me.
If we were in person, I wouldn't even be able to see his face, so that's okay.
Exactly. Okay. He's like tall AF. He's literally like a giant. This man is like the tallest man in the world.
Is this just me? But I find Captain Glenn kind of attractive. Is that just
Daddy AF? Yeah.
See,
the white gay is being problematic here.
I was not looking at Captain Glenn, but I was, however, looking at our chief engineer, Colin. Like, I see you. I see you, and I like what I'm seeing.
I think all the guys on this are hot. Like this in Summer House has like all these hotties. Like, yes. But
I find Gary, was that his name, the first mate, to be so annoying. Like annoying to the point where even if he was like conventionally attractive, that I would never call him hot.
I was all about Jean-Luc. That was for me. I was like, huh? It was great.
Go ahead.
Can I say who I really liked was Natasha the chef. I always look for the chef now that she's a big girl. She likes to eat, okay? So I want to see who's cooking the food. So Natasha the chef, I love her. I think she's fun. I think there was that part where she was fighting with, was it the chief stew? Was it Daisy and her? We're fighting over if the clients wanted to go sailing and she was forcing them to have breakfast. She's like, no, they're having breakfast.
Okay, what was that? Because like, did she just not understand what Daisy was telling her? Like, I was honestly like blown away by that conversation because I don't think they understood what they were saying to each other. Like,
right. I think there was like, it seemed to me like there was some sort of element where Daisy did stall long enough that like there was clearly enough time for there to be a sit-down breakfast before they went sailing. But because Daisy just assumed that was not going to happen, it kind of like, because like Natasha had already cooked a full ass meal. She had these huge platters out and she was ready to go. And so like clearly they could have set the table and just been ready. But Daisy was like, oh, I'm going to be right on this one. Like, they're just like, who's going to be right? Who's going to be in charge here? I feel like it's the classic chef and Chief Stew first argument where it's like, which one of our dicks is bigger? Like, who's going to fall in line here?
Know.
And I think, I don't even know who won because it ended up being weird.
Well, they served them breakfast, so Natasha won.
Yeah, Natasha won that one.
But then it had to be rushed. So Daisy was like, oh, well, I was right.
Yeah, that was really weird. I'm here for Daisy. I think she's going to be a really kind of spitfire Chief Stew. And I feel like coming off of Francesca, she was just so kind of draining of my life force. I feel like Daisy's going to give me the energy that I really need. I think Danny, the second stew, she looks amazing. She's stunning. I live for her. For her. And then Allie, she has literally blown out lips. I think she's going to be great drama. That's my prediction.
Who's going to get fired? If anyone gets fired, who do you think it's going to be?
I don't think anyone's going to get fired this season because of COVID. And like, that's something I want to talk about too, because to me, these guests were super trashy. Like, I think this was like discount charter because who the fuck is chartering in the middle of COVID? Like, they're probably filming in the summer. So it's like these guests, I was like, oh my God, like these are scary people. Like, oh my God. I don't even, maybe that was just my thoughts, but those guests.
No, they literally rolled up and I was like, oh no, is this like, I literally was like, this is below deck, but for poor people.
Oh! Literally. I think those charters must be mega discounted right now. Seriously.
Yeah. And the one that's a vegan and then she had to cook vegan for her. No one's allowed to eat meat on the ship because if they eat meat, they're going to be murdered.
But then she immediately allowed them to eat fish. It was just weird.
Those guests were so bizarre. That dinner was supposed to be like a wake for her father or something, and then like they were all just so wasted, and then she cries and storms off. I was like, okay, like these are these are just really trashy. I think they're from Florida, and that 100% tracks. So I don't know. I'm feeling very positive about this season. I will continue to probably cultivate my crush on Captain Glenn over Jean-Luc. I think he is going to be where it is at. There looks to be an incredible crash with docking. I am very excited to see that because that looks real, unlike all the fake docking drama there always is. And it looks like there's going to be lesbian kisses. I am here for the season. I think it's going to be good.
Literally, the season preview. There's just something about Below Deck that's always, it's just hornier than any other Bravo show. But this specific season, I was like, oh my gosh, we are in for a treat.
It's because of all the COVID quarantine. They haven't been having sex, so they want to get it on.
Yep.
Everybody wants to get it on. It's oranges everywhere,
I am very excited for this season. Okay, out of 5, I guess, what are we going to rate this out of 5?
Sales?
We have sales. Kind of lame.
I give it 3. I give it 3.
3 what?
Okay, 3 what?
3 sales.
We'll workshop it.
Let's do tentative sales. We'll workshop it. We'll keep it going. I'll give it a 2.5 because I think there's room to grow up. I really enjoyed the premiere. Kristian, what about you?
I'm also going to give it a 2.5. Like, I feel like there's something so just like kind of like blasé about a season opener. Like there's just so many things that you have to do.
You're introducing so many people. Like you have to get through so much introduction, you know.
And like with not one returner, like clearly there was just so many intro packages. And
Captain Glenn, he is my returner.
You love yourself, Daddy Captain Glenn.
Okay, I think he's the best captain of the three. That's just my opinion.
Really?
We will. Yes.
We'll have to talk about this because I'm Captain Lee, ride or die.
I love Captain Lee, but I think Captain Lee sometimes is too disconnected, whereas I think Captain Sandy is too involved. And I think Captain Glenn, he is bunking with the people. You know, he is one with the people. And I think that he's just like a normal person. He gives me like major dad vibes and like, I don't know. We'll track
with the people, but he has a big bed. I was like, that's kind of shady, Captain Glenn.
Okay, but he gets that because Captain Lee, Captain Sandy, they get their own room.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh.
Very true.
Okay. We'll be talking about this probably for a long time. So, yay, Below Deck Selling Yacht. Let's get to Dallas. I am really high on this week of Dallas because to me, this felt like a New York season episode. Maybe I'm totally out to lunch on this, but I feel like we have so much to talk about here. We're still on our trip to Austin. It has been Carrie's birthday for 6 months now, it feels like, in my life. I've been celebrating Carrie's birthday since we first experienced COVID. And when we meet them back, this episode was everyone just trashing Tiffany over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I felt that Tiffany really handled herself so well. Like I was living with Tiffany this week. I felt like every time she was came for, she had her responses back because they were so irrational and like just like petty. But this first fight was like the most petty of them all. And I think part of this, okay, so let's just break down what happened. So Carrie is like, I need a drink. She's stormed off from their fight between herself and Deandra. And then Tiffany's like, yeah, like Cameron, we fight all the time, but when we fight, we just talk verbally. And then Cameron's like, no, you need to stop talking back to me. And
she has an accent where she talks like this. I can do the Cameron accent so well.
Yes, so, it is like SoCal meets Dallas.
Josh,
I can do it like on point. So Tiffany, like, I really think that you're full of shit. So like, I have a problem with you. No, because she talks like this. It's great.
Yes. Okay. This is what, and then I think even worse, Stephanie jumps into this conversation, and she is like, "I felt very unwelcomed at your house," and then she like was like, I didn't like how you talked about your toilets, blah, 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 blah. But I'm thinking personally, I'm like, Stephanie, you always talk about poop and shit all the time with Brittany. And now you're telling me you don't want to talk about a toilet? Like, come on. Like, that to me was just like mega eye roll because I am forced to sit through so much talk about shit I don't want to hear, literally.
Poop and butt sex.
Yes. And I'm like, why? So then if Tiffany brings it up, then all of a sudden you don't want to hear it. Okay. I get it. And I believe this 100%. I 100% believe that Cameron knows what cathartic means. You will not be able to convince me that she does not know what cathartic means.
I don't know what cathartic.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
That's all part of her Paris Hilton act, and I absolutely know she believes what cathartic means because that's like a very basic English word in this language, and I think she's just looking for a response out of Tiffany. And also, every time that Tiffany has like corrected her, it's like she never corrected her. Like all the times that she corrected her, I was like, yeah, you're 100% right, Tiffany, for calling out just like them being stupid. Am I wrong? Kristian, what are your thoughts?
Well, see, I like am somebody who uses words incorrectly all the time. And me and my boyfriend fight about this all. He'll correct me and I'll be like, I don't even care if you're right. Don't fucking correct me like that. So I can empathize with Cameron in these moments where it's just like, I feel like her persona on Housewives, the one thing she's getting dragged for is being dumb. And so clearly her pet peeve is going to be somebody making her look even more dumb on the TV show. So I get it from that standpoint. And there was just something so, I know it was genuine from Tiffany, but she was like, when I'm correcting you, it's because I want you to use the words properly. And I was like, I know you mean this with good intention, but it sounds like you're like parenting Cameron in a way that I'm like, just let her fucking use a word incorrectly. It's not the end of the world. You don't need to stop your argument because Cameron used a word wrong, you know?
Yeah, I see that. I think every time Tiffany has corrected them, I don't think it's ever been to me like derogatory. And I think
right.
But then when she explains herself, then it gets kind of like, maybe a little off the track. But Josh, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I just feel like everyone's coming for Tiffany right now for like no reason.
Yes.
I think Tiffany is great. Yeah, she's a tiger mom and she admits it and she likes to correct people because she grew up that way. And yes, that's her thing, but like they know what they're signing up for with her. It's like why are they just like all going against her? And I'm sure we'll talk about the whole Brandy thing and how ridiculous that was. That Brandy's just like creating issues in her head about Tiffany. But like I kind of feel bad for Tiffany. She's not really doing anything wrong. And people are just like throwing shit at her.
Well, I think especially with Brandy, like it's just very explicitly not Tiffany's role as an Asian person to comfort Brandy in her struggles with like being identified as being problematic or making racist statements. And so the fact that Brandy is like then throwing this back on her I'm just like, Brandy, you're making yourself look worse in this situation. Like you could have said nothing, but here we are. And I'm just like,
let's break this down because part of me thinks that Brandy quit whatever that means and her Instagram, knowing that this was the episode to come, because I thought she looked so terrible. It's like I have never been more down on Brandy in my life than this week. Like, and in the past few seasons, I've really I really enjoyed Brandy because I used to think that previously. Okay, I'm struggling with my words because I don't know how to talk about this in terms of. She gives off very much like straight 2000s comedian stand-up vibes, like very Sarah Silverman like stand-up vibes, where I do think she's very funny, but then like when you talk to her about having to be accountable for some of her jokes, she like completely retreats into herself and doesn't understand why she's being forced to reconcile with this. Because I do, and this is why I think some people are completely out on Dallas and Orange County as a show because they are more conservative, and I understand why people don't want to check in for that. But for me, this is also why I really enjoy seeing this on reality television, because I want to see like really conservative ladies have to grapple with this in terms of being forced to confront people that they do not interact with on a normal basis. And it's very clear to me that they have never probably ever been friends with someone who is Asian American or has any Asian background at all. They have never probably had to have a friend or have ever had to come into contact with someone like Tiffany before. And so we're seeing them kind of have to confront this reality of like, oh, not all my friends are white or white passing. And like there are things that you just can't get away with that you could before. Okay. We need to talk about when they get on the boat. I honestly, like, I could not believe what I was seeing. Like, I thought this was the craziest thing I think I have maybe ever seen on all of Housewives. Maybe ever. Like, I was honestly so shook and just like truly shaken to my core. When Brandy breaks down crying because she thinks Tiffany is insinuating that she is like drug dealing. Like, I don't even know what there is to say that. It shook me to my core.
I was like, what?
So was Tiffany. She was like, what? What are you talking about?
And that's that shit where you can just tell that like Brandy's so paranoid. She's just like to the point where she's overthinking things and just spinning them into just like so far down the drain. And it was bad. It was hard to watch. And again, I feel like we've talked a lot about Brandy. Just like it's very clear that she's not having a good time. She's not putting energy into the way that she's coming across this season.
Yeah,
and
I know why.
And she just keeps getting worse every episode.
I know exactly.
I know, and it sucks because it's like, I mean, I don't know if it sucks, but like Bravo gave her this chance to continue to film this season, and I think you can go the way of like many of the New York wives that are just like they apologize and they move on and they like don't ever think about it again, and she's just like completely in her own head about it. Where it's like, to me, this episode felt like a total stinker for her. Like it was just, I think it sunk everything that she had apologized for or whatever. We'll get to this dinner later, but like you're basically like throwing your racist remarks back in the face of someone else and like saying it's their fault. Like that was my impression of what happened. But Josh, what were your thoughts on the whole medicine of it all?
The problem is Brandy. I'm not saying Brandy's racist. I'm not saying that. Brandy's not racist. She's ignorant AF.
Yes.
There's the difference. She's ignorant. And when she said those things, I don't think she thought there was actually a problem with them. If she wouldn't have done them if she thought there was a problem with them.
Right.
I think it was out of ignorance. And I think being thrown at, wow, Brandy, you need to censor yourself. Now you can't say shit like that. That is like can be taken as racist. That is wrong to say things like that. Now she feels she's super paranoid that anything she says is going to be taken as that. But she just needs to take a step back, but she's just not doing it. She's letting it get to her. And it's ruined everything. It ruined her probably future on the show regardless. If she didn't quit, I think she would have ended up fired at the end of the season.
Which is just like, it's just weird because I'm like, I guess at this point you either like die a Leanne or you live long enough to see yourself become a Brandy. Like I almost would rather her just gotten the Leanne treatment here.
It's not as bad as Leanne though. What she did was not anything. What Leanne did was like straight up like horrifying. Like watching that for the first time. Like I was like, whoa, when I saw the Leanne things. Because I watched the season later than you guys. I caught up right before this started. And I liked Leanne. And then I saw that and I was like, woof, that is wow.
I still have that like just her rant. Just it's ingrained in my head.
Ooh.
I'm just like, girl, you gotta stop.
That was rough. That was rough. Woof. That was just woo.
Yeah, that was like a really quick fall from grace. Whereas Brandy's is like it's like death by a million cuts or whatever the term is. It's just like watching her just like really just she is literally her own worst enemy right now. And even Stephanie like called it out that Tiffany is just a reminder of the mistakes she made in the past. And you know, I think part of bringing her back was like I wanted to see how she grappled with her mistake in terms of, you know, a lot of people did not want to see her come back. And I think, and I don't even think it's because of the video, obviously what she did was wrong. But then after the video was resurfaced by Leanne's wedding planner, she defended the video. She defended the video and said there was nothing wrong with what she had previously said until it became a big deal and everyone caught on to it. And then she apologized. So like there was an initial doubling down on the video before there was an apology that came after, which is always like, oh, we're getting an apology because it's expected, because we asked for it. Like, so it's not as sincere. And I, you know, in some ways, I think Brandy, she has a lot to learn. And I wish that she had just gotten out of her head, because I think to a certain extent, I would have been willing to kind of watch her learn some of the stuff along the way. I think that like if we're gonna have her on a reality television show, I think that's kind of an interesting thing. But she's taken it like to such an extreme in terms of like where she thinks she is in her relationship with Tiffany is just the way she talks to her at the end. I was so floored by that. Like I honestly, let's finish up the Tiffany drama. So like there at the end of the episode, there was drama because Brandy basically says, Tiffany, do you feel awkward around me? Which like she just like comes out and says out of the blue. And Tiffany was like so thrown back by this.
She's
was
like, what?
No, like what are you talking about? And she was like, I explained this to you before, Brandy. Like I know what you said was because of like ignorance. It wasn't out of malice or whatever she kind of said. But then whatever, Brandy was like, I want to be myself. Like I'm scared to say things. And like Tiffany started to get like really pissed, and I was pissed with her. Like I felt Tiffany's anger in that moment, like just being like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are you trying to pin this on me as like all your problems are my fault?" Like, I don't know, Kristian, what were your thoughts on this end fight here?
I mean, I feel like it's just so tangential to like a lot of the conversations that like we probably all have had like personally in the year 2020 of like. Just people being like, oh, I like really want to grow, but like it's just so hard because you're just you. And I was like, Brandon, shut up. Like literally think about what's coming out of your mouth just for like 1 second. And the way that you're just like spinning this so quickly and place like you will not actually take like full responsibility for your actions. And it's so clear from the way that you're now trying to turn this back on Tiffany, as if like she's this like catalyst for making you uncomfortable.
I agree. And it's like, are you uncomfortable by Tiffany, or are you just like uncomfortable by like non-white people being in the room? Like I don't know what the answer is there, because I think it's both. And I just like
ignorance. It's so ignorant.
It was just really frustrating. Josh, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was hard to watch. It was cringeworthy, and I loved Brandy up until this kind of the season. It's just been such a downhill. I used to Brandy and Stephanie. I remember telling you guys they were my favorite. Love them together. They're so much fun. They're goofy, like they're like little kids running around. And Brandy's just taking a nosedive this season. I don't really care for her anymore.
Yeah,
which is also, I mean, like this is like getting a little ahead of ourselves, but it's like in the preview for the next episode when Brandy was like, should I take my Jesus to Deandra's like little event? And her daughter was even like, I think that would be insensitive, Mom. I'm like, even your children are like aware of these like little like microaggressions that you're making, and you can't even seem to stop and be aware of them. It's bad. It's like reality television is such a bad platform, especially in the year 2021, for Brandy to be on, and it's just hard to watch it play out at this point.
Yeah, yes, she is a product of like very much past reality television. I think she played a really vital role in the building of Dallas, because she and Leanne were the two main characters probably of the first 4 seasons of Dallas. Like I do believe that, and like her back and forth with Leanne was what made the show. Like I really loved their dynamic in terms of always being like up and down. And I think with Leanne gone, Brandy has her expiration date is long past. And what I am really enjoying is the fact that I think other people have stepped up to take that mantle from her. Because I have honestly really been enjoying the season of Dallas. Like I think this season of Dallas has been really, in terms of like modern seasons that I've watched, I've really lived for it, because the Deandra, like, to me, I have to say, Deandra is like giving me everything I want out of a housewife. Like
Deandra's a hot mess, and I
have not been living more for someone like Deandra than, I don't know. Like she is doing it for me. Like I live for every single scene she is in. She kills me. She cracks me the fuck up. Like everything from like when she was taking all of her like mercury oils, and like Tiffany was just being like, what are you doing? And then like her meditation scenes kill me. Like they kill me. And then like my favorite thing that honestly made me laugh so much was Cameron was doing her dumb prank or whatever. And Cameron was telling her scary story about like the girl being in the window. And Deandra just says, very strange. And that honestly, like that took me to like another dimension. Was very strange.
And like for Deandra to say that something is very strange is just like, that's camp. That in itself is camp.
She's great. I think Deandra is really like slowly becoming the star of this. I think going into like next season, it's like Deandra, Cameron in a way, Tiffany, and Carrie. Those are really the 4 stars. And I think like I think Stephanie will stake along with it. I think Stephanie's kind of necessary there. But those 5, like it really feels like Brandy's almost like a friend of the Housewives this season. It's around those 5.
Yeah, Brandy is like, she is dead weight. Cut it. I think like bring on someone else, bring on another POC housewife. I really want to see that, because I agree. Like the 4 of them plus Stephanie will never leave, because Stephanie is a Bravo fave. She's an Andy fave. And I do think that she serves the purpose of being like that silent assassin in the confessionals. Like she was even like blaming Brandy this week in confessional. But I do agree, like the foursome of Cameron, Tiffany, Carrie, and Deandra, they have really been like holding the season up and giving it all the drama. Like, and like Deandra just is camp. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. She is 100% camp. The fact that her relationship with Carrie is up and down. We are on the up right now, and I'm sure we will get another valley in their relationship. And that is
for sure.
And that is the telltale signs of an incredible Real Housewives, relationship.
And everybody loves Mama D as well. Like, let's get real. Come on.
I know. It looks like we have some Mama D drama coming up soon, which I live for. More camp because Mama D is also high camp in her.
Yes.
I don't give a rip of it all. Okay. One thing that I need to point out that truly like makes me laugh so hard is, okay, when they showed the flashback of that poster that was in Cameron's ski lodge of those two people that were in the snow. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's that one skier with that girl like over that guy's crotch. That poster sends me to another dimension. That makes me laugh more than anything.
Are you talking about the beaver liquor poster?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Why do I find that so funny? Like, I find that poster so incredibly funny. Like, I live for that. And I never like looking at straight people. But that was just that. Yeah. Okay. I think that is Dallas for the week. I have to say, Tiffany is owning the white supremacist. I am living for her this season. I think her delivery can sometimes be off, but that is a sign of every incredible housewife, New York wise, is like, including the New York wives, is that, you know, you're right some weeks and you're wrong some other weeks, and that's just what I love about Tiffany. And I am so glad that the foursome, I think, will continue. And I'm really feeling very positive about Dallas as a whole, because I think last season was just so dark about all the Leanne drama, and it just was not something I liked watching. And all of the Deandra stuff, all of the campness of the season, like, I'm just really enjoying it, and it makes me laugh more than all the other shows. So I'm personally going to give this episode 4 out of 5 Texas stars. Kristian, what about you?
I was going to say 3.5. Like, I think it was good. I was up, I was down. I think what's going to prevent me from ever really giving Dallas the credit this season is I'm just so tired of seeing Brandy. Like, I like almost wish that they just would have tried to edit her out. Like, they've edited out other people from seasons on Bravo. Like, it's just sad to watch. And I think, like, she was a member of the cast, so we should get her full story, but I'm just like, she's not enjoying watching this. We're not enjoying watching this. So let's just like part ways. And it's sad that I'm like, oh, we still have a whole half a season with Brandy being sad Brandy.
Let's cherry pie her out of the editing.
No, literally. I agree. And like, my love for Dallas is like in spite of Brandy. Like, I think like the other parts of it to me are just like so strong that that's what I'm responding to. And I'm trying to like block out the Brandy stuff, but that is absolutely a downside to the season. What about you, Josh?
I think that this I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna say 4 because it's getting good. It was a good episode. We had 2 weeks without it, so I missed my Dallas ladies. Yeah, I think the 4 really bringing it. As you said, Deandra's a hot mess. We love watching her. She's incredible. Like, Tiffany's really bringing it. So 4.
Okay. That's Dallas for this week. Looks like there's some more drama coming soon, but let's go to our final show of the week, and that is New Jersey. Let's start with taglines, because we finally heard our season 11 taglines, and I have to say they are some of the blandest taglines I have ever heard. Like, do you guys agree with that? Like, these are pretty bad. So let's run through them. I'm
going to give you what I think their tagline should be.
Please do. I'll read the taglines as they are. So here they are. Teresa's is, they say it's never too late to start over. I say starting over never tasted so good. Okay.
So basic.
Of all of these, they're okay.
Like, how about I've told everyone that Jackie's husband's cheating on her with a man at the gym.
I just like, this is right. This is my first time ever seeing a New Jersey tagline. And so like
lower your expectations.
I know, but I was like, okay, Teresa is wild. She's crazy. She's out there. She's throwing, like, she's like really just like making accusations, fighting, and just like riding her little horse home. And I was just ready for her to have like the best tagline. I was like, she's going to top any tagline that I've ever heard. And then I was like, okay, here we are. It's never too late to start over.
You forget you're giving her too much intellectual credit.
I know, because I forget she's dumb.
Or to even like pull Lisa Rinna and ask for a good tagline. Like, that's what she does every season.
Like,
okay, so let's continue.
Can we quickly though say like the old taglines for Jersey were so good? If you're messing with my family, you're messing with me.
they're very personal, and I just feel like Atlanta
mafia-esque.
Yeah, you could say that. Like Atlanta, Beverly Hills, like even like those shows are made for like good taglines because it's so just like I don't know. There's so much like dirtiness. Jersey just these ladies are not that. Like we're forcing them into these boxes. Let's continue. Melissa's is I could tell you're green with envy. And honey, green is not your color. Okay, Michelle Visage. Maybe this will make more sense later.
I'm wearing green today.
Yeah, you're called out, Kristian, for wearing green. I feel like we'll understand this more later. I don't really understand this now. I have nothing really to say about this. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down all around.
It's no, like Melissa can do better. Like no question, thumbs down.
Margaret's is I renovate, elevate, and sometimes I instigate. All right, we have something kind of alliterative. We have I don't know, it kind of rhymes.
Renovating her house, renovating her breasts, like her face that she doesn't talk about. There you go.
I'm iffy on this one. Okay, Jennifer's is whoever says money can't buy you happiness clearly doesn't have my credit limit. Okay, generic rich housewives tagline. I feel
that seems like a good season 1 tagline.
Yes. This has Okay, let's just talk about, to me, a good tagline. It has to explain, if it can sum up your season arc, that to me is the sign of the good tagline. Like if it's just like I'm a rich bitch, like that to me is not. That is a season 1 tagline when you have nothing else going on. Like so, this tells me that Jennifer really does not have that much coming out this season. I think that's kind of what we're in for. Okay, Jackie's is I may be cut from a different cloth, but it's top quality fabric. Okay. Okay.
No.
Dolores is
guys, I'm married at the reunion right now.
Thumbs down. Yeah. Dolores' tagline is I am loyal and I'm lovable, but don't you dare call me gullible. Okay.
That's the one that I remembered. That was the only one that I remembered. And so I'll give Dolores that, but it's still very like if I called up my mom and tried to tell her, like, explain to her what a Real Housewives tagline was, and I was like, can you make one in 30 seconds? Like, this is what she would come up with. Like, it's not like good for the reality television. It's just like truly a mom response.
Do you guys have a favorite tagline? Do you guys remember your favorite tagline?
Yes, I was hoping to have this conversation.
You're seeing trouble.
The one
that
sticks with me the most ever is Ramona being like, some people call me an acquired taste, which I say, acquire some taste or something like that. Like,
if you don't like me, acquire some taste.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, that is the assignment to me.
My favorite one is Rinna's season 9 tagline. It's in the game of life, it's Rinna take all. Yes. That is like my all-time favorite tagline because it's like a shot at LVP. It's a shot at just like totally owning the season. That's what we're looking for. These ladies did not, they honestly did not match the assignment. I'm sorry. I'm giving this group of taglines a D. It is
really,
this is not it.
Nice. I think I'm just going to straight up fail them. They weren't good.
Okay, so let's break down the episode because we had a lot more of the follow-up between Teresa and Jackie. And okay, I just want to say this. Like, I hope this season doesn't get stuck on this fight. Like, I feel like Potomac kind of got stuck on the Candace Monique fight for a little too long until it did pivot to other things. And I think it rebounded by the end. But I don't want to see that kind of, I don't know, just overplay. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, did you guys think this episode was a good one? It was, to me, just very so-so.
I liked it. I thought the prank call was funny. Are we going to talk like the little prank call? And then how, the funny thing is they were setting up this prank call like that. They really
were
setting it up like Teresa stabbing Melissa in the back again. We're getting all the family drama again. And then it was just a prank call. Like, come on. I was ready for some Teresa Melissa drama again. That was fun.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'm responding to because to me that was a very big letdown. Like I was like, oh, okay, and I should have known better, but like at the same time, I was like, wow, that kind of sucked in retrospect.
But the tea was that Teresa was with Joe at the strip club. That was some
That
tea.
was very bizarre. Their whole relationship to me is very weird, and I do think that like ultimately Teresa wants Melissa and Joe Gorga to break up because she wants Joe Gorga all to himself. I'll just leave that there.
You still think that? Like, you think that Teresa doesn't like Melissa still? I feel like they get along somewhat now.
I don't think she likes Melissa at all. Actually. That's my impression.
Green with envy.
Whatever. I like Melissa more than Teresa. I'm not gonna lie. I love the Gorgas.
No, I think Melissa gives me major like Stephanie Holman vibes. She's a little more involved, but like Teresa is ultimate like that dumb bitch vibe, and I live for her. Yes. So let's like break down the episode. Okay, so okay, I don't even know what's really the big headline here. They have a boat ride. There was the fake drama. Okay,
there was Teresa versus Jackie again. They were trying to call her out over the.
Okay, no. This was like I guess the big headline was that kind of what we had heard last week in terms of the rumor about Evan cheating on Jackie being true was that Margaret's Joe had also, which by the way, every fucking man in New Jersey is apparently named Joe, but her husband had also heard these rumors. And to me, that was very telling because this was well before filming, so there was no like Biddy sliding into his DMs. Like this was like him hearing it, and he implied that Margaret knew of these as well because he said that he overheard it from the ladies in his house talking about this drama.
Yes,
so that to me was it. That was the tea.
So I can respond to that. So Jackie was on Watch What Happens Live this week.
Ooh.
And I watched that, and someone asked her about that on Watch What Happens Live, and her response was that he was hearing it. The women in his house was like Teresa and Teresa's friends, so it actually was.
No way. That is bullshit. Like that is definitely not what he was implying at all. Like right? Like that is not what he was saying. He said that he lives in a house full of women, and that you'd heard this before. That's my impression of what.
As soon as I heard this, I was like, okay, it's true. Or like, at least there's some amount of truth to it. Like whether it was that exact person, that exact gym, that exact whatever, I don't know the details of it, but that man is cheating. Like if this rumor has gone around enough times, there's got to be, I'm a big proponent of where there is smoke, there is fire.
Ooh.
And I agree. It's like, and I think Jackie and Evan they're too mad. Like I don't know if this was said about like me or my boyfriend, like I wouldn't really care because I know it'd be not true, but they're like so kind of obsessed with it. And my current running theory is that the person that told Teresa was a production member. Like I really think this was production's like hand getting like involved in it. Like they do this shit all the time, but like the reason why she can't say who her source is or any evidence, which I think she probably does have, was because it was production's hand being involved in the drama. That's just
right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We had them go for breakfast, blah, 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 blah. They went on a boat ride. That boat ride looked really rickety.
It did. And I will say, on that boat ride with the prank call, I was like, I gained a lot of respect for Teresa because the lies were just rolling right off her tongue.
Yeah,
yes,
I was like,
honey.
And she knew what to say. She's like, and delete the text too. Like she knew how to do that. Like that was incredible. She kind of exposed herself, honestly. And that wasn't
really. I literally was like, you're showing all your cards right now.
What are your thoughts about the okay? So there is Teresa's friend / realtor is named Michelle, apparently. And apparently Joe Gorga owes her husband a ton of money for doing a motivational speech at some Growing with Gorga event. To me, I don't believe this to be like true, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this?
I believe it to be true.
Okay, the thing that I don't understand is apparently they owe tens of thousands of dollars. There's no speech in this world unless you are named Hillary Rodham Clinton or Barack Obama that is worth that much money. Like what are they?
I don't know. I feel like Sonia might have gotten at least 10 grand for her speech at the gay rights march.
Are we talking season 4 right now?
We're talking season 4.
Is this why she wouldn't let Simon and Alex do it?
I just rewatched the episode. It's so incredible.
But no, I honestly do think it's true because if there's one thing that I know about like people from New Jersey / the mafia is that you don't fuck with people's money.
Just a random thing to say. Season 4 of New York is an underrated, incredible season with these random hot mess fights in it.
There has never been a bad season of New York. I'm just putting that out there. But okay, one thing I will say that maybe is true is like I don't believe that Joe Gorga knows how to like do his taxes. So maybe that's like I think I'm sure that he probably owes him some money, tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know about that. Like that just seems a little too much. But yeah, I guess we'll
get Miss Robin Dixon on the scene. Help him with some taxes.
Miss Robin Dixon, Miss Accountant, Miss IRS herself. Oh my God, that
the tea coming out.
Okay. I'm kind of souring on Jackie because I'm pissed that she's not here on this lake trip, which is turning out to be like episodes of like content. And I do think that like she knows Teresa at this point, and she knows that analogy of Gia would piss her off. And like she doesn't understand, like she wants Teresa to apologize to Evan personally, but then she doesn't want to say, all she has to say is like, I overstepped in that analogy. That wasn't what I meant to bring in your daughter. What do you guys think about
I think this is going to be Jackie's last season. And I'm going to predict that now. I think this is going to be last season we're seeing her because she's not bringing it. And what the TV and what the producers want you to do, you need to do. And when you're not going on the trip and you're not interacting, you're like threatening that unless Teresa calls your husband, which is never going to happen, that you're not going to hang out with people. No, girl, she's not getting a paycheck next season. So.
Yeah, I think if this was like the end of the season, I would agree with you. There's a long season to go. This is definitely not her only trip this season. So maybe she has time to rebound. We'll have to see with Jackie. But yeah, she needs to like, I don't know. She's like kind of whining and I'm kind of over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that just me?
I've never been a fan, not gonna lie.
Okay. So is there anything else from New Jersey this week that you guys want to talk about?
No.
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Okay. I'm gonna give this episode 3 table flips out of 5. What are your thoughts, Kristian?
I'd also give it 3. I was entertained the whole time. I definitely think the star of this week's episode was just Teresa lying for me on this prank call. Like it was just so good. I was truly like taking notes. I was like, I'm going to do something like this. It'll be fun. But it's calmed down a little bit. I would definitely, this is my 3rd episode of New Jersey. So we have a top, a bottom, and a safe. And I would put this episode as the safe one of the 3 that I've seen.
Yeah. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I'd also give it a 3. It was in the middle. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst.
Totally agree. So let's get to our tops and bottoms of the week. Okay, Josh, I want to kind of start with your thoughts. Who are your tops? Who are your bottoms of this week in Bravo?
I'm going right on the bat. Okay, so my top, I'm going to say Kenya Moore is my top because she just loves to bring the drama. I love her. Like, she is Judge Judy up in there, still running this court case. It's becoming the damn OJ trial. Let's go, Kenya Moore. For my bottom, Jackie. Jackie's my bottom this week. I don't think I think she needs to bring it more. And also Brandy mix. Brandy and Jackie are both it because Brandy was just a mess this week on Dallas, and I'm just losing interest in her. Same with Jackie.
Kristian, who are your tops and bottoms?
I'm going to say my tops is just like, maybe this is me being too like Paula Abdul, but just like the whole cast of Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Like I thought that was a good opener. I'm excited about it. I don't really understand the like sailing component of it, but I like want more of it. So I'll give it to them. If Sean Luke wants to be my bottom of the week, like really do think that it goes out to Brandy and that she's just so miserable. She knows she's on her last leg here. I feel like at this point in the filming, she was like, I can't do this anymore. And it's just sad to watch. And I actively get sad watching her. And so she's going to be my bottom this week.
I agree. Brandy is also my bottom of the week. I have really not disliked kind of a performance on reality television more than, I don't know, in a long time. Like I was just like truly in the red with Miss Brandy this week, just being a complete fool, and it made that whole Instagram post last week make so much more sense to me. I had to say, even though she got engaged, Miss Hannah is also my bottom of the week. Just being a contradictory girl, and I just don't understand her. But at the same time, like I'm living for her hot mess. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I'm like the same bottom type as Brandy. Like, I'm living for her being super contradictory. My top of the week, I have two. Tiffany for warding off all the haters. She just handled herself so incredibly well and just beautifully. And it's like, it's not her place to have to deal with this bullshit. And she's being put in these situations. And I just truly hope that if and when she comes back for season 2, she's just like, I want to see her like be more of the queen bee and just like less of the punching bag. That's because I think that's more of her character, and I want to see that because I think that's what she will deliver. And my other top of the week is Captain Glenn. I love Captain Glenn.
You just love your daddy. Go for it.
He can be a top any day of the week for me.
Maybe he can have a threesome with you and your boyfriend. You guys have some group fun.
Yeah, my DMs are always open. So those are my tops of the week. And yeah, that was this week in Bravo. We have a lot more coming up. I just want to say a note. I don't think we will be covering Married to Medicine. None of us are experts here, and I don't think either of us have the time or the knowledge to really say anything ever important about this show. So I think we're going to skip this one when it comes to Bravo, but we will be covering all the other shows next week, and I'm super excited to see you guys next Thursday. So with that, Josh, take us out of here.
All right. Shout outs, everybody. You can follow Kristian on Twitter at _KRobs. It's _KROBZ. You can follow Sam on Twitter at Sam Henson 24. And lastly, you can follow me at Mendels8, MENDELS, the number 8. And you can follow our network at Couch Potato Queens. That's Couch Potato QWNZ on Twitter. You can like our Facebook page, the Couch Potato Queens podcast. And Sam, take it away on what's planned for. I think we're going to be posting audio soon too, right?
Yes, you should be hearing this soon in either your Apple feed or Spotify, wherever you hear your playlists, your podcasts. This should be in your ears. So we will have a video version and an audio version being posted soon. So please hold us to that. And yeah, we will be back next week to discuss all things Bravo. And I will see you guys later. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.